At 82, Ted Ohlsen is used to working with his hands. He's had a lot of practice seeing the world in his own way. He lost his sight in a hunting accident in 1960. He was 22.
I was working at the Esterhazy potash mine and went out deer hunting with friends one day.
His friend's gun accidentally hit him, blinding him instantly. The accident could have changed his life forever. In many ways it did. Ohlsen, still a young man, had only moved to Canada from Germany a few years before. He came with a dream to work as an outfitter in Canada's wilderness.
A lot of Canadians don't realize that the greatest outdoor place in the world and the greatest boreal forest is still in this country called Canada. It's the playground of the world.
After his accident, many seemed to think his goal was impossible, even the Canadian Institute for the Blind.
They just said that that was impossible, that no blind person had ever built or ran a fishing and hunting lodge. And my answer to that was that nobody drove a Ford until Henry Ford built one. So you have to start someplace.
And start he did. Only 5 years after losing his sight forever, he built the Northern Lights Fishing Lodge at Deschambault Lake. He credits Saskatchewan's wilderness and his determination not to let anything stop him that kept him going.
The healing place for many illnesses. It's a world like no other, and it's the best healing spot that I know of.
The lodge was the first wheelchair-accessible fishing lodge in Saskatchewan. For years, he donated 2 weeks in August for children with disabilities in Manitoba and Saskatchewan to experience the outdoors.
Young disabled kids who otherwise would have never got to know the great outdoors in their own province or country, and to experience the beautiful evenings and the calls of the loons.
Ohlsen and his wife sold the lodge in 2001, but they couldn't leave the outdoors. They opened 2 fly-in fishing camps in the north. They were still going strong until finally selling last year. With no sight, Ohlsen uses touch and his other senses to see. Looking at his carvings, you'd be shocked to learn the man who made them has never actually seen one. He got into carving shortly after opening the Northern Lights Lodge.
One of my native friends from Deschambault brought me a piece of diamond willow. I had never seen that wood or felt that wood, and it was just gorgeous. And so that's how I was introduced to it.
Half a century later, he whittles away like he sees every detail. He says for him, the wood he uses to make his art is a gift from the boreal forest.
Today, I know that I have carvings displayed in Germany, in the United States, in Hawaii, in Hong Kong.
Ted hand carves that. And it's just an incredible piece of work.
Sherman Dahl was blown away when he saw Ohlsen's carvings and heard his story for the first time. He'd been staying at the Northern Lights Lodge after it had changed hands. He knew he needed to meet this person. Dahl runs the Emily Dahl Foundation, an organization aimed at promoting happiness. Inspired by Ohlsen's story, Dahl started TED Talks. The interviews feature the pair discussing Ted's life and sharing his wisdom for being happy in the face of so many obstacles.
For someone that relies on sound and feel as opposed to not having sight, has really made him a much more enlightened and aware person. Anybody that looks, inward as opposed to always looking at the external and the materialistic things of the world is really talking about looking inwards towards love and happiness.
Dahl says he's inspired by Ohlsen's connection to Saskatchewan's nature. He thinks there's a lot of people who can learn from his friend and the boreal forest he loves so much.
Who you really are is this sort of transformational temporary form that's just evolving. And if you think of the boreal forest where Ted is this massive living organism that really is part of you in many ways.
Dahl echoes Ohlsen's belief that the boreal forest is a place people can come to heal.
In the quiet, peaceful nature of the way things are, that will do way more for recovery and for anxiety than taking a pill. And I think that's the essence of Ted points to that as happiness. And I think he's onto something.
For Ohlsen, he said he hopes his story teaches people never to give up, even with the odds against you.
If you have a dream, go for it, that everything is possible.
Ohlsen now is technically retired. If you ask him about it, he'll laugh and offer a story and advice on visiting the land. He says he doesn't plan to stop carving anytime soon.